now. Maybe. Girl, girl, girl.
What happened?
What took you so long to get on?
I was trying to do it from the computer, so I wouldn't have to like prop my phone up. But the computer won't let me join the live; it'll just let me watch it.
Yeah, I tried to do that on mine too, but it didn't work.
So that's what it took us. First of all, it's 8 o'clock on the dot, so I am right on time.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully we have this issue because we could probably start going live from the actual Instagram page. But yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to save this so that people that don't join tonight can actually watch it from our page. So the 2-3 people that's on right now, we can probably wait for a second just to see if anybody else jump on before we start. I'm gonna try to play some music a little bit.
Goodbye, only seeing people's heads.
Until we start.
Hello, fresh air. Hello
It's
again
Pandora,
to
so it's gonna play
Sunline's
some
Hello,
advertising.
getting EV drivers there. Put charging stations near where you want.
I would let me do it too. Do it real quick.
Make it easy.
I'm smoking my hookah, so
Ghetto.
real ghetto, but it's okay.
Excited. And when you're ready to go,
So
hello, freedom.
I do want to tell everybody that y'all need to follow our Instagram page at It's the Podcast for Me,
Which is what I'm on right now.
Yes.
Just clicking.
That is our actual podcast that we started about a week or so ago, maybe.
On the first.
So yeah, it's really a space for women to discuss like different topics that are not usually discussed for whatever reason. We drop episodes every Friday, and from our Instagram page, we will go live every Wednesday. So it'll be called Wealth Wednesdays, and we'll be sharing different tips and tools and stuff like that as it pertains to your finances and just becoming more financially free.
Right. So Wealth Wednesdays are not just for women, but our platform is directed towards women, so it will probably be majority women.
Right. But we're gonna start in just a second. I was gonna play some music for a little while, but it is what it is. So if you are not following our Instagram page, please go follow it now. It's the podcast for me, which is the one that Sandy is on right now. No spaces, just it's the podcast for me. And then our podcast information is actually in the bio on that page.
Yes, so you can just click.
We also have a YouTube channel as well.
So when our podcast drop on Fridays, if you prefer to watch a video, you can watch our YouTube. The second episode, the YouTube is not going to be visual. It's just going to be sound as well. I mean, just us talking as well. So, yeah. But the first YouTube does have video of us, and the following ones will have video of us when we're actually recording the podcast, so y'all can see our facial expressions. Yes, be goofy, silly, and everything.
Right. Why are you so close to the camera, friend?
First of all, it's propped up. I told you what I was trying to do. When I look at myself, I don't seem like I'm close.
It look like you like.
Well, you know my posture, so I'm probably leaned over. You want me to be like this? But then the light gonna be in the way, so let my big head shine through.
So everybody that just joined,
I'm gonna be like this.
That's a little better. Everybody that just joined, hey, welcome. Right, tell her to move back some. Look how close she is.
I don't like this light right here.
Everybody that just joined, this is our Wealth Wednesday live that we will be doing every Wednesday. So it'll probably be at 8 o'clock. At least that's what we tentatively have said, 8 o'clock. So
yeah, we try to keep everything the same, so it's gonna probably be 8 o'clock. The podcast, I wanted to say this, the podcast schedule. I didn't tell you this, bro, but it does allow me to schedule it. So it will drop midnight every Friday. So it's available whenever you open your eyes on Friday morning. It's gonna be available.
Night on Thursday.
Thursday going into Friday, so that's midnight Friday.
All right, so y'all catch that. And we are trying to get it on Apple Podcasts as well. I know that a lot of people use that platform more, but right now it's like on Anchor and Spotify. And what's the other one, Sandy?
It's on Google Podcasts, and it's on some other smaller podcast platforms.
But when it becomes available on Apple Podcasts, we will let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and get started because I don't want to wait because we'll probably try to save this anyway, and so people can go back and watch it. So, like I was saying before, this is Wealth Wednesdays where we're sharing gems and tips and stuff like that for people to try to become more financially stable. Disclaimer, I'm not rich. Sandy, you might be rich. I ain't rich.
Nowhere near being rich,
But
honey.
we do like to share some things that we do in order to try to be that way and work towards that. Okay, with everything going on, I know it's hard with the pandemic. A lot of people is out of work, so this is very important to tune in to these because we, like I said, we'll be giving tips on ways to actually help you when things like this do happen, because you'll have money to fall back on.
Right. Safety.
Yes.
So
Go ahead, Sandy. I mean.
So today's it to be about living within your means. That's the first step into being financially stable. So we're, starting off, we're gonna just talk about getting to a place that you're financially stable, and then we'll go into, saving, credit, debt, stuff like that. So today is about just living within your means. So what does that mean to you?
I would say living within my means basically means I know like how much I make, like how much comes into my house, my paycheck or my other income or whatever. Mm-hmm. I know how much comes in, and I pretty much live within what I got. So like don't allow my bills or the things that I'm buying to go beyond what I'm making, pretty much.
Right. So with that being said, living within your means is to equal to, so everything that you need to survive, being bills, food, and everything, equals to zero at the end, whether you do that how you get paid, which is or whether you get paid bi-weekly and you do it bi-weekly, or you do it monthly, or however you decide to do your budget. At the end, it should equal zero or less than what you bring home. If it's more, then you're not living within your means. It's really just that simple.
So basically, spend less than or equal to the amount that you bring in each month, and that's equal financial freedom, quote unquote. I did.
Right. So
I know you big on like research and stuff, so I did do a little bit of research because I wanted to get like some numbers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I did some research, and I found a blog called Magnifying Money, and it did like a study of I don't know how many people or whatever, mm-hmm. but it that 53% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
I live paycheck to paycheck, which is like over half of the amount of people that they actually did the study on, which is crazy.
But so in today's world, it's honestly, it's probably more than probably the people that they did the study on, because living within your means could still be living paycheck to paycheck. So that's why I say that's the first step, because to not live paycheck to paycheck means that you have made it so you're you have right, you have your freedom, that you're bringing in way more money, or not even way more money than what it costs for you to
right.
You cannot live paycheck to paycheck. And that's something that you have to work on. So just to get into how to live within your means, it takes knowing what you have. You have to know
What
how
your is.
huh?
You got to know what your means is first and foremost.
Exactly how much money you're bringing home. And don't, not gross, because I mean, although gross is great, but
Right. I
um,
wish I bring that home.
you don't bring that home, so you don't have to spend. So the things like insurance, like health insurance and things like that, don't write that down, because you're not having to pay that, yourself. So to be realistic about it, get a notebook and write down like how much money. And if you have different checks, where you make a different amount every time, then take the or the last 2 months worth of income. That's a month to 3 months of income, and average it out. So that's on average how much you'll, and start there with just knowing how much income you have, and live within your means if you don't know what your means are, and then what you're paying.
Right.
Because in order for you to get within, you have to know what you're paying, and write everything. Let's be realistic. Don't write down rent, lights, cable, water when you got Netflix, you got
all that extra stuff that don't really matter anyway.
all kind of stuff that you're paying. Write all of it down, so that way you can know what you need to cut off. Because if you only write down the stuff, the regular stuff, and you don't write down every little thing, then you're still gonna be coming up short. You're gonna be like, how?
Right.
And that's because those little things add up.
Mm-hmm.
Apple Music, Netflix, those little things, they add up.
And that's the that I forget when, because we'll get into that, but when I'm trying to look at my stuff, and then like I have my budget all set up, and then next thing you know, Apple Music coming out, or out of my account, I'm like, oh, about that.
Yes, because you have to count for those little things, because they add up. So write everything down. So now if you have both things, right, now you have your means and you have your paying. So now you can look and see where you're going wrong at, or if you're doing good.
Right.
And and then you have to write down things like food and gas. And so the thing about food and gas is that they're adjustable, because you can stay home and not use gas, and you can
especially right now, because you ain't supposed to be going nowhere right now.
You ain't supposed to be out. Exactly. Right. And food, you can pay your meals, and it is a certain amount that you may have to spend depending on how big your family is and stuff like that. But you can like cut back, because the kids don't have to have or as many or whatnot. So you can adjust it accordingly. Those two things can be adjusted. And then you go and you start cutting off things that you don't need. If you have cable, you don't need Netflix.
Yeah.
If cable is ridiculous amount, maybe you could just do internet and keep Netflix, and that will cut it over half. Most of the time it does. So I chose cable and internet because they are disposable. So those are the things that you should get rid of first. Things that are disposable, things that you can live without. Read a book. I mean, something that
probably like also I know like us women, we be wanting to get our nails done all the time, toes, hair, eyebrows, like it's little stuff like that you can easily cut out. Like I wear my wigs. Like I get a good wig, I wear yeah, like I mean at the moment, if you can't afford it at the moment, it's okay to cut back.
Yes.
So stuff like that you can cut back because you can't afford it. You might think you can afford it because you can pay for it right then, but you pull it
black in the later on
to do that. And like speaking of actually like getting your hair done and nails done and all that stuff like that, social media will have you living out your means. Social media will do it because you're sitting here looking at people, what they got, what they doing. All this, and now you feel like you got to keep up with the Joneses, so you going to buy stuff that you can't necessarily afford just to show people that you got it. That's
right. So think about it this way: like these people who really don't have these things, and they're going out and doing these things. Like when y'all get old and y'all can't do these things, what they gonna have?
Exactly. While you building financial freedom and cutting,
they
gonna they're gonna be broke. They're gonna be broke.
$20 when you living the good life. So that's what. So you have to think about it in the and yes, and so also when you're writing down those things, if you wanna get braids $120, write it down.
Yeah.
If hair braided monthly and you're doing a monthly budget, write down that, and then you can see if you can actually squeeze that in or not. Because if not, you may have to stretch it out. If you want to get your nails done every bi-weekly, write down everything. That way you can see what you can maneuver, not maneuver, put it in and take it out, however, like that. So
it's really important, like, to try to live within your means and not do the most, because once you get into like a financial bind, it's like directly linked to like depression and other psychological.
yes,
like it's way deeper than just being broke. Way
mm-hmm.
deeper than just being broke.
And if you're already not living within your means and you get to a place where you're behind, now you gotta try to get from behind, and then you already can't afford what you have. But that's that's worse. You know what I'm saying? That's even more stress, things like that, when you could just go ahead and start. We will give like budgeting tips, right? We're gonna do a episode on like budgeting, okay? Because
we're not gonna discuss that too much tonight. We just kind of gonna hit on it, like.
Mm-mm.
And it is very important. But I do want to say to people that just joined, hey y'all, this is Wealth Wednesdays. This is mainly from our podcast. It's a podcast for me. If you're not following our page, go to Instagram page called It's the Podcast for Me. And you'll have all the information there. We do post episodes every Friday. And we'll be doing this every Wednesday, giving tips and tricks and stuff like that to be more financially free.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Also, I was going to say, those people that y'all are trying to live up to probably can't really afford stuff. Honestly, they just doing it just for the show. Just the show. Let me see. I had wrote down some more stuff that I wanted to go over. So let me just scan my notes real quick. Oh, I know y'all probably heard this before, but like when you looking to like buy something or whatever, if you can't pay for it twice, then you can't afford it. Or if you can't save up to get it, then you can't afford it.
So
put stuff like on credit and stuff like that.
So for people that are dealing with their finances or trying to do better in their finances, I know that if you have the research that you probably came across Mr. Dave Ramsey, and I love him because he's so real and so blunt. I'll send you a lot of Dave Ramsey. So I listen to his podcast. I follow him on Instagram. I love him. But Mr. Ramsey, his doctorate is about being financial free, like being debt free, and then it's like he has the 7 baby steps. So those are great. So if you are not living within your means, you can't even start
Do you want to hit on those tips, or you
So that's what I was about to say before. We can't do those in another episode because this episode is about living within your means, and basically if you're not even living within your means, you can't even start to be financial free because you can't save, you can't work on credit because you can't afford to pay bills today. So you can't even go forward and do anything. So one thing growing up, so Mr. Ramsey, if you guys are not or if you are working on finances in some type of way, whether it's trying to be debt free or just trying to live a better life within your finances, he's a great, and that's why I brought him up so you can start looking into him. And he has great tips and tricks and stuff like that as well. One thing that when I was growing up, my father always told me, if you can't afford it out of check, then you don't need to get it. And basically, like, let's say a car note, like if you're working at McDonald's and your check is $300 every 2 weeks, then you don't need to get a $300 or $400 car note because you can't afford that out of one check. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's something that I think about, actually. Sometimes I don't abide by it, and I've always been smart.
A lot of times we don't abide by it. Like, we feel like if we could just pay for it out of that one check, then we good. But it's like, if that's your check,
Oh, then we good, right?
Can't afford it. And I don't know where I heard that from about like if you can't buy it twice and you can't afford it. Like if you can just at one time, then you really can't afford it because now you broke, but you got your car, but you
Exactly. So you got a car that you can't do nothing with because you can't drive, can't get no gas and all that kind of stuff like that. So there's it. Or get a different one, another kind. That's what we kind of hit on in our Friday. So yeah, pay attention. But
it was mainly about like goal setting, but it does hit on but just be mindful like of your spending. Like we said at the beginning, be conscious of like what you're making and what's actually going out. Just be mindful of those things. And try to be less tempted to like splurge. Say what?
Don't be mindful of it because to be mindful of it is just like think, oh yeah, I gotta pay this. You need to know and be disciplined in it.
I'm saying like no, I say mindful, but I mean no, like what's coming in, what's going out, and stuff like that. And I know like around this time, like with COVID and everything, people on these lockdowns, and we sit here scrolling Instagram, and now we see something that we want to buy, and then we just go buy it because we're bored. Like, be careful about splurging, getting your feelings, and want to buy stuff that feel better. Don't do that. Especially if you can't afford it right now. Like, it's good and make you feel good right now, but in the long run, it'll hurt you because you didn't need that. You didn't need it.
And if you are intentional and you see what you got going in and going out, you know that you don't need to do that. So
what you said, we gotta break this thinking that we're gonna make this money back when we see something we want. Exactly.
Yes.
I'm guilty. I be like that. I'm be like, money comes, money goes. I can't take it with me. I'm finna spend it.
So, like, if it don't make you no money, how you gonna make that money back?
That's true.
So the thought is that, oh, I'm gonna make more money, but that money is already assigned to something else, because so if it's not making you any money, then how are you gonna make that money back? Like if you're not using this money to buy something that you can sell or something that's gonna benefit you in a way that you can make, then how are you gonna make it back?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you just constantly keep putting yourself in more debt, like period. And also that study that I was talking about, it said like debt outside of like mortgage or whatever, like other debt that you have, people are 3 times greater risk of developing anxiety and depression.
Yeah, because you're thinking about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I love to use a car note as an example because a car note it falls in a lot of different categories. So a car note is a necessity and an accessory because we do need a car note if we're living, and going to work and things like that. We have children, we're going stuff like that. But we don't have to have the best of the best. I mean, we just need something that's going to move and go. And that's why I like to use that as an example because it's flexible, like payments are flexible.
And why not get a card?
It's right.
Maybe pay for it cash or pay it off within like a year or two. Like, why go? And I say that, and I got a card, and I'm still paying for it. But I'm just saying, like, if I would have known what I know now, like, just get something that is gonna get you where you need to go. Like, don't try to keep up with the Joneses and getting this expensive car.
Exactly.
You really can't afford. Now you $20, $30, $40 in debt. Honestly, it's debt because you you paying on it. So just think about stuff like that. Think about stuff like that. And it's just at the moment, like while you trying to build your finances up. Like it don't have to necessarily be like this forever. It's just while you are trying to build, like you just gotta be mindful or know these things.
No, you should live within your means forever.
That's true. But if I got money coming in, like I'm making millions of dollars, like your means change, but you still live
within your means, right? So you should live within your means. I'm sorry, y'all. My camera just like sliding around here. You should live within your means forever. Your means just change. Like she said, you're making more money, so you could do more things because you're free to do more things. But you should still, if you got $1 million in the bank, just like you said before, you shouldn't go buy. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't. I don't even know what to say. What you could go buy, but you shouldn't go buy it. It costs $1 million because that's all you got, unless it's like a house or something like that. But you know, you shouldn't go buy a $1 million car. I don't even know if there is one out there.
I mean, I'm sure it's probably half a million. But
Yes, I'm about to say two $500,000 cars. You shouldn't go do that.
what do you feel about? I mean, it's still, I guess, living within your means, but like people that have these credit cards and they like putting stuff on credit cards. Like, what do you feel about credit cards?
So this is a little bit off topic, and we said we wasn't gonna try to do that, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. So it depends what your goals are. Credit cards can be a friend or a foe. If your goal is just to be debt free, then no to the credit cards. But if your goal is to build credit, then yes to the credit cards, but in the right way. So not yes to the credit cards and I don't have the money right now, so let me use my credit card. But yes to the credit card and like I'm trying to build my credit, so I need to use it and then pay it like that. And we'll get into that when it comes to when we talk about credit. We'll get into how to use the credit card to build your credit because that's the quickest and the easiest way to build credit, honestly. And people frown upon it because they don't want credit cards, but if you use it the right way. So I think that's kind of like a two-part question. Depends on what your goal is. That's how you're using your credit cards.
Okay. So people that just joined in, I see Unique. Hey, Unique. If y'all could follow our Instagram, it's a podcast for me, so that y'all will be notified whenever we drop our new episodes every Friday on the podcast. It's really for women, but this thing that we're doing every Wednesday is for anybody.
So also, y'all, at the top of the live, you can click, because we're on together, you can click it and follow without even getting off the live. You can follow it because it's what I'm on right now. And Unique, yes, I love saving challenges, girls. So that was one thing we hit on in the podcast. It's coming out Friday as well. If one of your goals is saving, those things are kind of like rewards within rewards.
I don't even know about that.
Basically like the little, like I'm gonna save, we was talking about I'm gonna save this amount by this time, this, you know what I'm saying? They have like charts and things like that. So
maybe this is a little bit different. This maybe maybe about budgeting, like the little thing that you were talking about. Maybe that's like the envelope savings thing that you
budget. Yeah, that's a little bit more on budgeting.
So what's the savings thing? Is that like a map or like a guide or something like that? You save a certain amount every so often? Like, how does that work?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I'm sorry, I was trying to read this.
Yeah.
So yes, that's exactly what it is. So I was thinking that I'm not going to do one this year, but next year, because we were trying to do like the big wedding that I was going to do, like, I was going to start this year, and so I done by a certain time year to like $10,000. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty.
We'll have to discuss that further because I'm a little interested in that. I mean, I've done challenges like saving things that went on before, but it was more like a list, and it tells you like how much to put back each week.
Right.
Okay, so that's the same thing.
Yeah, kind of. It's one version of it.
Okay.
But some people can't save if you're not living within your means. If you're not living within your means, it's very hard for you to save because you can't afford to live. I mean, just put it in layman's terms. And
that's true, because a lot of people, they'll be like, well, are you saving? Are you saving? I'm like, saving what?
I can't save. Exactly. Like, you have to get there. If you're not able to live within your means, then you can't save it. So
right.
Yeah, we're going to get it in order. So I think next we should talk about budgeting.
Yeah.
because that's a part of getting it down to living within your means. So that's what we'll talk about. We'll talk about budgeting, and we'll go through the steps of budgeting and answer whatever questions anybody has. So if y'all come back to us next week and y'all start a budget, y'all should have your bills and your income. That's gonna be like homework for everyone who wants to participate, or not homework, or a challenge. You can make it a challenge. Let's make it the within our means challenge. So by the time you come back, let's have your bills, your amount of money put together, and we're gonna talk to you guys about how to put together a budget. Let's try to get them equal to zero, okay? Like, let's try to, you don't have to put it in like when you're gonna pay it, because we'll go over that with the budget, but let's try to get it to where the amount of money you're bringing in versus the amount of money that you're paying out is equal, at least equal, okay?
And hopefully, once y'all join us again, you guys will be following the page so that you can, so we can go live from that page and not like my personal page or whatever. We can go live.
Go live from our first page. How we gonna get together?
I mean, you go live from that page and I just join.
Oh, yes, great, yeah. So yes, y'all, click and follow.
It's the podcast for me. And if y'all haven't listened to our podcast, it's very good. That's for our women. It's really, really good. It's gonna get better. So
Be patient with this.
I'm trying, y'all, but I'm really excited about that podcast. Not to get off topic, but I'm really excited because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and Sandy probably too. You've been wanting to do that for a while, so I'm really excited about the podcast, y'all.
Did you have any other notes?
I just really got a whole bunch of numbers because I'm big on like studies. But I don't know if it's more so about living within your means. It's more so about people that's like living paycheck to paycheck, kind of.
Yeah.
They don't live within their means. Let me see.
But y'all stick with us. We're gonna get y'all out of. We're gonna get y'all out of that.
Yeah.
Together, all of us are gonna get out of it together. We're gonna do better.
I read something that said that the recommended, like, I guess, amount of money or whatever like that is to have 3 months worth of like your living expenses. Is that I think I'm saying that right?
Right. So next episode we're gonna go over the baby steps, because one of the baby steps is 7 baby steps with Dave Ramsey. One of them is 3 to 6 months of income saved. So.
Okay, and let me see what else I got. We talked about the social media stuff, about trying to keep up with the Joneses.
That's why I'm doing a mental reset. Well, that's one of the reasons.
And look at, I mean, but it's okay to like unfollow people that you feel like you got to compete with. I know sometimes we get to where we like, I don't got to compete with her. You know, like, I got this, but yes, you is. Yes, you are. So it's okay to unfollow people like that, or just don't look at their stuff, because you don't know what they did to get that. You don't know what they gave up to get that. So, not to get off topic, but just saying social media.
No, that's like one of the things I always say is that people be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna address that," but by saying you're not gonna address it, you're addressing it. So that's the same thing.
Y'all later want to have a little cameo.
Hey,
let me see what I got. Okay, just later. This is live, and you just talk. Excuse me, y'all. We'll talk about that. Okay, we'll talk about that. Just okay. What else I got? Mama, come get your grandmother. Let me see. So improve your psychological well-being so that you're not just aimlessly buying stuff just to try to make yourself feel better. Be mindful of social media, like mindless scrolling can be damaging. Track the time that you spend on social media. Take control of your spending. And then if you are to a point where you can't, like, you feel like you can't get yourself out of like a financial rut or whatever it is, and you don't have anybody to help you, it's okay to seek financial help or professional help. That's what I was about to say.
DM me, y'all. I love to budget.
So we can talk about that next week, Sandy.
Saying people who, like you said, like y'all feel like y'all in a rut, and you, if you in a rut, you can't afford to pay somebody. So hit me up, and I don't care. Like,
y'all, I was gonna talk about this next week, but Sandy is actually helping me budget because I am horrible at budgeting. I've tried multiple times and it just don't work for me. So Sandy is helping me, y'all. She is really good at this. I don't know why she like this stuff. This kind of stuff make my head hurt and I get anxiety and I just can't deal.
I do too, but I don't know if I get off of it.
Sandy is the go-to person. I keep telling her she needs to make this a business, but you know, whatever.
People get crazy spending money.
But if you do you have anything else, Sandy? If not, we can end the live. Leah gone.
Hey Ashley, hey Wes, I see y'all join in.
Hey baby. So yeah, y'all, don't forget again, like I said, to follow. I'm gonna keep saying that until y'all do it. We gotta get followers up. Follow our Instagram. It's the podcast for me. Make sure y'all are listening to our ladies are listening to our podcast that drop every Friday. And also our YouTube is up now. Work with us as we get those kinks situated. But our YouTube is also it's the podcast for me. You can see on YouTube, it's the podcast for me. Do anybody have any questions? I mean, I know we ain't like professionals or whatnot, but maybe y'all got some questions that y'all want to ask us or some topics y'all want to discuss these weeks coming up. Anything?
And if y'all don't want to put it on here, because I know it has your name there, y'all can DM the podcast for me as well. And